Good. So, good morning, all. So, like I was saying in my previous video, right, we're inviting the Ministry of Gender and UE and Gender Department in UE, right, to come along on this journey of helping people, right, helping people because we would have been part of the process. Once you are part of a process of something wrong, right, once you are part of a process of influencing something or people into the wrong direction, you have to be part of the process of correcting that, right? Well, I repeat that once you have been wrong, right, in influencing anybody in a wrong direction, right, in society and life, right, in spirituality and whatever, right, you have to be part of the process, right, of correcting that, right? So I have been part of that process, right, unfortunately, and a lot of us at UE and a lot of people, teachers, so on, have been part of that process, lecturers, all these things, right? So I'm inviting others on this journey, right, of sitting with people in the LGBTQ community, right, and yourselves, of course, right, to help to correct and have a conversation about correcting the situation, right, correcting the situation, right, and helping people to correct themselves and sit with themselves and to fix themselves, right? So we're having a conversation today on whether homosexuality is natural or that conversation about whether it is natural or obtained or derived from society, right? From society, right? Now, is it natural? No, of course it is natural, right? To have if you're an adult teenager into young adulthood and so on, right? And it goes as far as however old you get, right? You're walking on the road, you're driving down the road, you see someone, right? You say, hey, this person is the same sex as you, right? You're a male, you see a male person. You're a female, you see a female person, right? Hey, this person looks good, right? And is the same sex as you. Hey, I like how this person look. I like this person. Or you talk to somebody of your same sex and be like, hey, this conversation was like extra nice. This conversation, I like this conversation, right? I like this person, in fact, right? And you develop a liking towards a person based on either you how you see them or how you communicate with them or something like that. Now that is natural, right? There's nothing wrong in that, and that is natural. Those sorts of things are natural processes, natural inclinations, natural things as human beings, right? Now there are arguments that say that society suppresses you, like that. There's the argument of the LGBTQ community to further those feelings, right? So you see somebody, you have a little attraction towards them of the same sex. You say, hey, well, I have a good conversation with this person looking good, I like how this person dress, walks, talk, whatever, right? Now, argument of the LGBTQ community, those who support that will say that, hey, well, society is suppressing, or societal norms is suppressing this furthering of these feelings, right? Now, that's could be one part, but society actually exists, right, to keep us one in check, right? To a certain extent, this is not a saying that you don't have freedom, right? You actually have freedom, right? But society actually exists, so societal rules or conditions governing society as a collective actually exist to keep you in a check in a particular kind of way, right? Not only that, but naturally, right? You have a natural inclination or feeling within you that's saying, hey, that's stopping me from furthering this, right? So it's not only society, but it's also something that is inherent within you that you were born with, that is saying, hey, well, something is actually, if I further this, or if I seek to further this friendship or this relation, right? That I just see somebody, I like them, or I just talk to somebody and I like them, right? Something inherent within you to saying, hey, no, I don't want to go and just have sex with that person, right? I just don't want to go and develop an attraction or intense feeling towards somebody else of that same sex because of that, right? And I leave that as a conversation, I leave that as, well, a temporary or fleeting moment, right? That you talk to somebody when you see them out the road, or you just, hey, you wave to them, they look good, or whatever, and you move on with life, right? So it is both society that we help to keep others, keep each other in check, right? And additionally, right, something that we are born with, right, inherent, knowing that, hey, it will not feel right or does not feel right to me, right, to further this experience in any kind of way, right, and I step away from it and move on with life, right. Now, we're talking about rebellion too, right? Because why do some people think it is natural and normal, right, to further this experience if they experience this, right? One, childhood trauma, right? You have a lot of trauma in your childhood, right? It results in what? Failed relationships going forward in life. And two, you have failed relationships in life. So you might have a good childhood, right? And then you might just have, because of certain life itself, right? You might have some failed relationships in your heterosexual relationships, right? And that might push you to want to experience something new or something different, right? So this is not really something that, hey, you're born to be homosexual, right? Or this is just love, or you're born to like somebody of your same sex, right? It is, we are conditioned in certain ways, right? We are manipulated in certain ways by all organizations, by movies, by music, by all organizations, by family, by friends, right? We are manipulated. So we are trying to un or demanipulate ourselves, right? Unmanipulate our individual self and remanipulate ourselves individually in a positive way, right? In a positive direction, right? Because there is a good manipulation as well you could do to yourself, right? So you could actually rewire certain circuits within your brain, right? Right? You could that were set in stone, right, by whatever organization that was appear to be set in stone by whatever organization, by whatever it is, right? That friends, whatever it is, influence you in a particular way that try to set it in stone, right? So you could either you could actually rewire, right? Rewire, right, through your own what, and it could be through music too, because not all music is evil, right? Let me just make that point. There's some music that is actually, it might appear evil, right, but it is not evil, right? There are certain music that could actually rewire those kinds of thinking, right? Rewire those kinds of forms of energetic manipulation, and it could change you back, right? If you're going in a wrong direction and you don't know how do I come out of this, right? How do you, and I'm talking to people in the LGBTQ community, or those who would have influenced people in that way, right? How do I come out of this, right? There's certain music, right, with certain beats, lyrics, whatever, right? That could write that could, if you want to, that could really help you to push you out of that pit, right? Or that pit that others has tried to lead you down into, right? So it is not impossible, and you are not doomed or damned, right, for these things, right? So it's just is a conversation we're having. So no, it is not natural, right? I would not say it is natural, right, to have these particular or want to further these experiences, right? These things are conditioned, right? It is not natural, right? Yes, certain things are natural to an extent, right? Meaning that you see somebody and you like them, they could be same sex as you. You see them, you like them, you appreciate them, right? You have even strong feelings towards them, right? But you wouldn't further that, right? And it's something inherent within you that's saying, hey, something just doesn't feel right here, right? So I live my life like that, feeling through experiences, right? You're feeling through experiences, and you're going down a particular road, you stop yourself, you're saying, hey, there's something about this, just it doesn't resonate well with me on the inside, right? It doesn't feel right on the inside, right? So this is what we are helping, or I am trying to help us sit with others in this community who actually want to come out of what I am referring to as a pit, because it is a pit, right? Once you get into that lifestyle, it is a little bit of a challenge, right? If you want to come back out of it, it's a little bit of a challenge, right, to resurface from that. So that is what I am doing through these videos, right? Helping people to come out of that pit if you so desire to, right? If you want to, or if you have the calling to, right? So it is just a part two to that conversation, and that's why I'm saying we are calling on people, one, within the the relevant ministry. 2, within the education facilities. 3, even the religious community, but to do it and do it not in a way that will damn people for all of eternity for the choices that they would have made and so on, right? Because that has been the problem, right? That has been one of the things that push people, in addition to your traumas and failed relationships and so on. Religious trauma is at a different level, and that's one of the things that actually push people into that lifestyle for more as a form of rebellion, right? So we'll close up this video today, and hopefully this thing reaches somebody or people who it needs to.